fixing up her old house and preparing to resell it for more money. Laura Podesta, CBS News, New York.
CBS 4 this Saturday morning at 6:30 starts right now.
This is CBS 4 News This Morning.
Good Saturday morning, South Florida. I'm Rielle Creighton. Thank you for joining us. Time now is 6:29. Here is what we are working on for you right now. A CBS 4 News health alert. The entire state now under a public health emergency because of hepatitis A. What you need to know and what officials say you can do to protect yourself and your family. And later, from Beyonce to Mark Anthony, Grammy award-winning songwriter and producer Rudy Perez has worked with them all. Now he is sitting down with our very own Lisa Petrillo to talk about his new book, all about his colorful life. But first, we take you outside after days of sometimes wet and stormy weather across South Florida. Could we be in for a stormy Saturday? Let's get our first check of our Saturday morning weather. Meteorologist Jennifer Correa joining us now. Good morning, Jennifer.
Good morning, Rielle. Well, you just saw flooding.
Well, Puerto Rico has a new governor. Veteran politician Pedro Pierluisi has been sworn in as the island's new leader. Pierluisi replaces Ricardo Rosselló, who resigned after weeks of protest. Before leaving office, Rosselló named Pierluisi as Puerto Rico's Secretary of State, putting him next in line to become governor. Some lawmakers there are questioning if his swearing in is legitimate. He still needs confirmation from Puerto Rico's Senate, and this morning, the Senate president is hinting he will fight the succession plan. That could happen at a hearing on Monday. And there's a lot less seaweed on Miami Beach this morning. A big cleanup effort began yesterday. Scientists say the seaweed is coming ashore at unprecedented levels because warm waters are spurring more growth. It was a bit of a challenge to get the cleanup going. The law says that the county must get a weekly permit to clean the beaches and make sure impact to marine life like sea turtles is minimal. A health alert now has expanded across Florida this morning. The entire state is now under a public health emergency because of hepatitis A. CBS 4's Carrie Codd is in Fort Lauderdale to explain what this means for us.
In Fort Lauderdale, Carrie Codd, CBS 4 This Morning.
Well, this morning, police are trying to find this suspected robber. Surveillance video shows him jumping the counter of a South Florida convenience store before being confronted by a store clerk. What happened at the 19th Street food shop in Lauderdale Lakes last month. Deputies say the man is a frequent customer there. Surveillance video shows the clerk trying to get the man away from the counter, but the thief is seen pushing and shoving her around before snatching a money pouch by the register.
I was a little scared daytime.
The thief took off running. The clerk was not seriously hurt. Well, in other news this morning, the widow of a Parkland school shooting victim is now running for a seat on the Broward County School Board. Debbie Hickson filed her paperwork yesterday in Fort Lauderdale. Her husband, Chris, was the athletic director at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School when he and 16 others were killed in last year's mass shooting on Valentine's Day. Hickson says school safety is one of her priorities.
I've been in the system. This is my 31st year in the system.
Hickson is running for the seat being vacated by Robin Bartleman, who has decided to run for state senate. That election is next year. Happening now, it is almost time to head back to school, and that means back to school shopping. And this weekend, you can do it tax-free. Florida's back to school sales tax holiday started yesterday. It runs through Tuesday night. You will not have to pay state or local sales taxes on clothes, shoes, certain accessories under $60, and school supplies under $15. Personal computers and related accessories are also included, but only if they cost less than $1,000. Well, still ahead on CBS 4 this Saturday morning, one little test, one big surprise. A DNA test connects two half-brothers. We're there as they meet for the first time and find out they're also both brothers in blue. But first,
I'm Lisa Petrillo at Books and Books in Bal Harbour Shop with the one and only Rudy Perez with his brand new book called
The Latin Hitmaker.
Producing some of the biggest stars in the music industry and more. That story coming up on CBS 4 News.
Happy weekend, South Florida. Still grab the rain gear because we expect around
Now at 6:40, Beyonce, Christina Aguilera, Ricky Martin, Michael Bolton, and Mark Anthony are just a few of the performers that Miami's own Grammy Award-winning songwriter and producer Rudy Perez has worked with. Perez has composed more than 1,000 songs and is co-founder of the Latin Grammys and the Latin Songwriters Hall of Fame. This morning, he's out with a new book all about his colorful life. CBS 4's Lisa Petrillo was there for the launch.
I tell everybody the Latin hitmaker is now out in bookstores. At Books and Books at Bell Harbor Shops, I'm Lisa Petrillo with Rudy, CBS 4 News.
Oh boy, who has Lisa not talked to?
I know.
She gets everybody.
Yes.
So anyways, back to our weather. And we've had such wet, soggy, lightning-filled rain and weather this week.
Yes.
So
it started Thursday. Thursday was pretty bad. Yesterday was bad in the morning, but then quiet for much of the afternoon. Weather early next week.
Sounds good. Thank you, Jennifer. Well, now to some other good news this morning. A Boynton Beach police officer receives an unexpected call from a fellow Florida officer who is also his half-brother. Officer Eric Reynolds said that he got an email from an Orange County Sergeant, David Stoll, who was adopted as an infant and said he knew very little about his family history. Well, that is until he took a DNA test that left him with some surprising news. Yesterday, he visited Reynolds and his family in Boynton Beach for the very first time.
You know, I was expecting to see cousin.
Never had a big brother. You know, I mean, I think back, I wish I had a big brother at some moments in my life when I could have used one.
Officer Reynolds says he believes he's met his clone, and he is excited to have a new brother and says they have 50 years to make up for. Well, still ahead on CBS 4 this Saturday morning, bad news about the Dolphins' planned scrimmage at Hard Rock Stadium. Jim Barry has that and more next in sports. And it's time to say thank you for your service, because there is a hero among us. He's Air Force veteran George Carbonell, and his story is worthy of a standing ovation. Next, CBS 4 this Saturday morning. We'll be right back.
And now, CBS 4 Sports.
Good morning. The Dolphins call off today's scrimmage. Be his chaperone and his traveling buddy. Nothing wrong with that. I'm Jim Barry, CBS 4 Sports this morning.
It is time now to salute another hero among us. Every week, in partnership with the Florida Panthers, we put the spotlight on a hero among us, men or women who have gone beyond the call of duty for our country. This morning, CBS 4's Maribel Rodriguez introduces us to U.S. Air Force veteran George Carbonell.
Sergeant Carbonell, for your service. Maribel Rodriguez, CBS 4 News.
CBS 4 this Saturday morning is coming right back. But first, here are your winning lottery numbers. Good luck. Jennifer is here with one more check of your Saturday forecast.
So we're going to reach a high of 90 before we get those storms developing this afternoon. So some heavy downpours still expected. They'll probably start going around noontime and last through the early evening hours. We still expect stormy weather through tomorrow. More sunshine early next week.
Okay. Thank you, Jennifer. Storms. That does it for CBS 4 this Saturday morning. We want to thank you for joining us. Up next is CBS This Morning Saturday. We'll be back in another 25 minutes with a live news update. Have a great day.